Hello everybody, once again, this is AikawaKazu. Let's start this video by looking back quickly into some of the MMORPGs I've played with some form of player versus player or PvP since I've started gaming. Well, I've played Ragnarok Online, Linsha, Shadow Galaxy, World of Warcraft, and more recently Aeon Online, Rift, Terra Online, Dragon Nest, and Guild Wars 2. So what makes Dragon Nest PvP so special among some of the newer or more known MMORPGs today that have kept me coming back to playing it all this while? Well, in this video I'll share with you the 7 key features in Dragon Nest PvP that gives me the confidence to say proudly that there's nothing out there in the world of MMORPG that can provide that same unique experience that Dragon Nest PvP can offer. These 7 key features, which I'll explain one by one, are the non-targeting system, which meant that you are playing in a third-person perspective with a crosshair, almost full control of your character's movement and actions, the unique combo system, passive defensive skills, variable hit state, super armor, and invincibility frames or iframes. Alright, so right now I'm in the combo practice mode in the game itself, where you can practice your moves against a dummy right here in front of me. And you'll notice that I have a crosshair at the center of the screen. And if you take a look at the user interface, which is the UI, there are hotkey bar slots at the bottom where I house the skills that I will use for my character. And having the crosshair actually means that you need to aim your skills, or aim to cast your skills to where your target is. So right now the dummy is not exactly a moving target, so you can see that my skills are directed at him. But against the actual player that moves around, the non-targeting system in the game is thus the first element of skill for PvP in Dragon Nest. So let's go on to the full control of your character's movement and actions. So you can control your character's actions with the usual W, A, S and D, so you can move in a circle like this. And you can jump by pressing the space bar, and the left and the right mouse click button will be your character's basic and special normal attack respectively, and in my case it's just a simple slash and a side kick here. So all classes in the game have a form of dodge like this. For my class is a tumble, which can activate by pressing shift with your directional keys. So if you press shift with W, you tumble forward, and if you press W with shift, if you press S with shift, you can dodge backwards. So similarly, you can dodge sideways with the A and D directional keys. You can also activate this dodging mechanism by pressing the same directional key twice, which means pressing W twice will have the same effect as pressing shift and W. So this basically gives you almost full control over your character's movement and actions, which will be important due to the next feature, which is the unique combo system. Alright, so right now I'm in Lost Temple, a common 1v1 map for PvP in Dragon Nest. I've brought a friend with me to show you a simple combo that my class can do. You will realize in the combo execution that I will need to aim precisely and have proper movement on my character to pull this combo off. We'll start off with something simple like a wall combo and then build on to something a little more complicated. Combo mode activate. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a cyclone. Get a guy up into the air, and watch, I need to direct my crosshair upwards. Getting back up, and taken away here. So you can see excellent there, that was my 10 kill streak, and that is the unique combo system in the game. So know that every class in the game can do combos, not just my class, which is a Moonlord. And the first thing that comes to your mind after watching this will be like, wow, which game actually allows you to soar into the air and fire out slashes like this? But on the other hand, players who are serious about PvP might look at this and say, combo system itself might make PvP itself a bit overpowered for players who can master the execution of combos. So we were talking about the unique combo system in Dragon Nest being a bit too overpowered if someone actually mastered the combo system. So this brings us to our next feature, which is the passive defensive skills. Every class in this game will have 3 main passive defensive skills, and the first one, you have already seen it, is the dodging skill. So for the warrior class, it is the tumble. You can see I'm tumbling forward now, so my friend right now is going to cast a skill at me, and I will need to time my tumble like this to be able to dodge that skill and avoid getting hit. So your dodging skill has a cooldown as well, as you can see in the screen here. It's not very long, but this means that you need to know exactly when to want to use your dodge, because sometimes you can simply walk away from a skill like this, my friend, and you do not need to use your dodge. Sometimes if you do it better, you can actually do a jump dodge and avoid getting hit by the skill as well. So you need to know exactly when you want to dodge. So this will be the second element of skill in the game, which is the passive defensive skill. The first one will be dodge. So some classes like the sorceress class have the blink, But for the warrior class or any other class, it will be some form of a tumble like you see on the screen right now. So that's the first passive defensive skill. The second passive defensive skill will be this thing called air evasion. So right now I'm going to punch my friend into the air, and you can see he recovered from that launch with a space bar. So he's going to punch me back right now to show you guys how it looks like. And I press the space bar to activate this air evasion skill, which is a second passive defensive skill. So it has a pretty long cooldown, so you need to know exactly when you want to use it as well. So the air evasion can only be used if you are launched up into the air. As you can see just now, when I cast the Cyclone Slash on my friend into combo, he's actually trapped. But if you have the air evasion skill, you can hop out of that right away. So my friend right now is going to cast a Cyclone Slash on me. And you can see I hopped out of the Cyclone Slash, and this means that I actually can run away and prevent myself from getting comboed. So this is the second passive defensive skill. So that is not enough, because there are situations where you see my air evasion on cooldown because he have exhausted my air evasion once, and I'll be in trouble if I get caught twice. So this brings us to the third passive defensive skill that every class will have as well in some form or another. So for the Sword Master class, we have this thing called Counter Exile. And these third passive defensive skill usually have some unique requirements for you to activate it. So later on I'll show you another class, but right now my friend is going to show you, or rather it's going to punch me. And look at that, Counter Exile. You can see he actually got flinched there by my Counter Exile, so it provides a chance for me to counter attack. So the third passive defensive skill usually comes in the form of a way where you can prevent yourself from getting caught. That's the first thing, and if you execute it well, you actually open up an opportunity for you to do a counter attack. So these three main passive defensive skills which each class have is the reason why the combo system is not so OP, or rather overpowered. So my friend right now is going to try and combo me. He's going to try the wall combo, and you can see right now I'm getting wall combo. So I wait for the right moment and I back away here and I get myself out and prevent myself from getting comboed. So knowing exactly when to use an air evasion is very important, because there are times where you meet skillful opponents, they'll wait for you to use your air evasion and then they will catch you again. So let me give you an idea of this. My friend's gonna punch me and he's gonna try to catch me after that. Air evade, caught me again, and I do a Counter Exile, avoid, and he caught me again. So when you meet skillful opponents, you're then in trouble. So this brings us to the third reason why the element of skill in Dragoness is very high, because you have the combo system, cool, that means that you can do a lot of cool stuff to your opponent, but you must first make him, or rather you must force him to use first his dodge. I didn't quite mention dodge there, so you need to force him to use his dodge, and then his air evasion, and then after that his third passive defensive skill. So we'll go straight to another class which I'll show you that it comes in another form of passive defensive skill. Okay, so right now I'm with another class in the game. Is known as the Mercenary / Destroyer, and this class have a very different form of third passive defensive skill compared to the Sword Master. You saw that the Sword Master class needed to be lifted up into the air to use the Counter Exile. There's air evasion, but basically let's try to get him to use his Counter Exile here. And there is Counter Exile. So for this class we have something different. My friend's gonna attack me right now. You can see that I have the Crisis Howl, and then I can cast a skill to get him to be knocked down, and then it's my turn to attack. So you see that the activation requirements is a flinch or stagger status. And what exactly is a stagger or flinch status? We'll talk about it later on. It's actually one of the features of Dragoness as well. But know that the Dragoness passive defensive skill system fast provide that element of skill. Another element of skill into the game, aside from the ones that we mentioned earlier on. You can't just get into combo mode without baiting or forcing your opponents to use those three passive defensive skills, which is your dodge, this one, and we have the air evasion, and last but not the least we have the Counter Exile, which is your third passive defensive skill. So it is not that easy to force your opponent to to use his passive defensive skill, as you need to lift them up into the air. So is it that easy to lift your opponent up to the air? You will now go into the fifth feature of Dragoness, which is the variable hit states. So variable hit states is actually very simple. It's the different kinds of impact that you can do to your opponent to apply different forms of, I would say, status that they are at to allow you to do different kinds of attacks. For example, if I do a normal attack here, this is called the light impact hit state, and then if I do this, which is heavy slash, this is called the flinch or stagger hit state, and you can build up on your hit state. So while I wait for my cooldown on my skills, we saw the stagger earlier on, and if I give him a light tap here with the light impact state that I showed you earlier on, you can get a knockdown. And then last but not the least, the fourth hit state, we have the knockup here. So to get into the combo mode or to force your opponents to use their passive defensive skills, you need to understand hit states in the game. And most of the time, you'll want to get your opponent in a flinch status and then get the knockdown. So this will be the most common form of hit state that you want to know, which is the stagger status. We have the knockback as well, but all of this are fundamentally the same form of hit states that I've showed you earlier on. So the thing is this, if it's so easy to give your opponent an uplift or knockup here, is there any form of measures where there are things that you can do to prevent yourself from getting hit? I mean getting the knockup, and this comes the sixth feature of the Dragon Nest PvP. So Dragon Nest PvP has another feature called the Super Armour, and Super Armour is branched out into two different branches. We have the Super Armour Defense, which basically means how much your character can endure before his skill gets cancelled, and then we have Super Armour Destruction, which is a counter towards Super Armour defensive skills. For example, this skill Flying Swing has very high Super Armour defense, and you can see that the Impact Punch skill cannot lift me up into the air. So Flying Swing has very high Super Armour defense, so if you see someone who's going to cast Impact Punch at you, for example I'm dashing towards him, and I get punched in the face, but for example, if I dash towards him, I know that it's going to come soon, waiting for his cooldown, and I press my Flying Swing, you can see that I don't get lifted up, but it provides me the opportunity to counter attack as well. So the thing is, there are also skills that has very high Super Armour Destruction. So my friend's going to cast a skill called Flinch Attack, which looks pretty strong, and I'm going to destroy that skill Super Armour Defense with a high Super Armour Destruction skill. You can see that I gave him a punch to the face and he died. That was unfortunate, but you can see that this skill was cancelled. So Finish Attack, which is a level 50 skill for the Gladiator class, has decent Super Armour defense, but you can see that the skill called Demolition Fist has very high Super Armour Destruction as well, and this skill, Demolition Fist, can actually destroy Flying Swing as well. So for example, right now my friend, hang on, just wait for he's going to cast Line Drive and I'm going to counter it. You can see that even though he managed to cast that skill, I did not get lifted up by the Line Drive skill as I have enough Super Armour defense as well. So you can see the counter play here in Dragon Nest PvP. There are many variables that can happen. Sometimes you see a guy casting a punch at you, you can cast Flying Swing. That is the most basic form. And sometimes you see the guy cast Finish Attack and you look like you're gonna die. But look at that, punch to the face, you cancel his strongest damaging skill. So a low level skill can actually cancel a high damaging skill, which means that for you to do your combo successfully, you need to understand the Super Armour defense and destruction of almost every class in the game for you to be able to pull off the combos that you want. So once again, this adds to another skill cap or element of skill to Dragon Nest PvP. So understanding Super Armour defense and destruction is crucial for you to perform well in Dragon Nest player versus player. But the thing is this, so if my Tumble is baited, my air evasion's baited, and my Super Armour defense skills baited, am I totally gone? Or there are certain classes like for example the Sword Master class, which does not have many skills with high Super Armour defense. So what can they do? This brings us to our next feature of the Dragon Nest PvP, which I believe is the most unique feature in all of the world of MMORPG. I don't think any game out there currently have this feature. It's called the Invincibility Frames or iframes. So to explain this, I'll actually bring on another class which has the highest number of invisibility frame skills. So the picture, so hang on. So right now I'm with the Tempest/Acrobat class in the game, which has the highest number of invisibility frame skills. So you might think it's overpowered, but it actually has the lowest number of Super Armour skills. I mean Super Armour defensive skills, so it kind of balances out, and as an Acrobat you want to be having some smooth combat, so this iframe system actually allows him to be able to attack and defend smoothly while combating in PvP. So let's not show the invisibility frame skill for the Tempest class first, let's show some of the Sword Master class. So right now I'm going to do a skill that's going to be, it's going to look quite huge or has a large impact on my friend here, and it's going to dodge it with a skill. So the reason that he didn't get hit is because this skill is called Evasion Slash, and in this game, once again, the unique feature is invisibility frame or iframe. I'm just gonna call it for short now because it's quite a mouthful to say. So the iframe for Evasion Slash actually lasts for just half a second. So I'm gonna do it again on him. You can see that he did not get hit at all and I actually took damage there. So there is iframe within the Evasion Slash skill, which actually makes sense because Evasion Slash means you evade and you slash. So right now I have my own skill called Kickshot EX. You can see right now. You can see that there's a shadow behind my character. And if this skill didn't have iframe, that means my skill, which looks like it has a shadowy figure, which means that things should not be touching me, it'll be cancelled if there's no iframe. But right now I have iframe and my friend's gonna attack me with Line Drive. And I'm gonna walk through it. You can see that I didn't get hit by that skill at all. So you have your dodge, you have your air evasion, and then you have skills with invisibility frame or iframes. So why is it called iframe or invisibility frame? Basically, there are a certain number of frames or a single frame in your casting animation of a skill where you are invulnerable. That means that you cannot be hit. So right now, it's going to be iframe against iframe skill. I'm going to cast a skill called Circle Shot on my friend, and it's going to use Front Shove to dodge it as well. Look at that. So Front Shove actually is a skill by the Swordmaster that takes a step back. The step back motion has iframe, so he cannot get hit in that motion. And at the same time, my skill Circle Shot has iframe as well when I jump up into the air. So let's say right now, if I'm attacking my opponent and I cast Circle Shot, he can respond with another iframe skill known as Front Shove. So imagine now that I force my friend to dodge with this skill called Binding Shot. And you can see Front Shove iframe prevents him from getting caught. And after you use Front Shove, he can actually tumble to dodge again. So this means that he has two chances to actually back out or prevent himself from getting caught by a combo. But for me, it's the same as well. I have more than one iframe skill as well. I have the Kick Shot, my friend's gonna attack me right now. I go through him with my tumble and then he's gonna try to attack me again. And I have my Circle Shot. You can see that I can react smoothly. So imagine if we are actually fighting against, two skillful opponents who know this iframe skills. The way it works, the way Dragon Nest PvP works, you can see that I'll respond with my attacking skill now. It's gonna air evade. He didn't. It's okay. So, for example, if I'm attacking him right now, he's knocked down. He uses his air evasion. Caught him again. He's gonna use Counter Exile. And you thought that he's all goners, and he's gonna respond with his Front Shove iframe when I use this. And he caught me there. So just when I thought that I actually got him, he managed to turn around the table and catch me with an iframe skill instead. So this brings lots of variety and competitive play in Dragon Nest PvP. You can see, I think you can foresee with the 7 features, which is the unique combo system, the 3 passive defensive skills that each class will have, the variable hit states, the super armor defense and destruction, followed by invincibility frames. These 7 features combined provides for an unexpected, almost limitless number of possibilities in Dragon Nest PvP. So right now my friend and I is gonna go head on, and you'll see how we're gonna respond to it. And here we go. Managed to bait his tumble there. He's caught. Air evasion baits it. He counter attack with that. I used my passive defensive skill there. Caught him. Caught him again here. And counter with a super armor defensive skill. And there you have it. You saw the limitless possibilities there. I dodged, I caught him, and when you thought it was over, when I got him into that Cyclone Kick motion, he uses Line Drive, which is a skill with substantial number of super armor defense, and absolutely countered me there. And that was just a short split of 15 seconds. Imagine if this combat lasts for a whole 2 minutes between 2 very skillful opponents. So I hope you guys right now, after looking at these 7 key features of Dragon Nest PvP, can see that this is definitely something that is not out there in the world of action MMORPG. Which is why from the start, I told you that I can say with confidence and say with pride that there's nothing out there that can provide the same unique experience that Dragon Nest PvP can offer. So well, if you are still not convinced, well, let's watch a short 2-minute clip of what Dragon Nest PvP can look like without the user interface. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that 2-minute clip, but don't get overly excited just yet. I'm going to point out in the next part of the video some of the shortcomings of Dragoness PvP as well. The first complaint or issue with the 7 key features will be this very familiar term to everybody for online games known as lag, or aptly put, latency issues. You will realize by now that the 7 key features can only function the way they are if there are little or no latency issues, since they require precise timing during the execution. To minimize such issues, there are localized services for Dragoness all over the world. We have Dragoness available to Singapore, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, China, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, Russia, Europe, Australia, and the North American regions. People who reside in countries near these regions can also connect to the Dragoness service they want to, which has minimum latency issues for them. However, bear in mind that playing in the best possible Dragoness service might still result in meeting players who lag extremely badly, much like this example that I'm going to show you.
Ah, your head.
Oh, he's rolling attack. Turn up too.
Oh, where is he? He's right here, isn't he?
He's still there. But
hey, help.
Nope,
What?
He's at the left corner now.
What? Okay.
Whoa, he's going back. He's going back.
Wow,
Wow, what's happening, man? Okay. Jokes aside, that will not happen very frequently in game, but don't expect things to go the way you want to all the time. If such situations do happen to you, smile and enjoy your next fight. The second issue is class balancing. For those who have been playing MMORPGs for a long time, the phrase "there is no such thing as balance" is definitely a common phrase you will hear. And Dragoness is no exception. Developers of Dragoness, which is a company called LATENCY, have been making some skill balancing changes as of late. Most of them are good balancing changes, but some of them lately haven't been the best for PvP. You see, games like StarCraft 2, which is an esport in South Korea, have many balancing changes based off feedback from a large pool of professional players. And with such a voice, Blizzard do make those informed and justified balancing changes. And this brings me to the most important part of this video, which is the part where you get up, take action and do your part for the Dragoness PvP community. You see, it can be the same for Dragoness PvP if our community is active, competitive, and most importantly, large enough. Today, we don't represent our own localized Dragoness service, we represent as one Dragoness. I have asked many Dragoness PvP players if they told their friends why they love Dragoness PvP so much. Most of them told me that they don't know how to put into words what Dragoness PvP can offer. Well, I have done that for you today in this video, and now I'll ask of you to do your part as well. You see, the word skill have been placed in PvP for many MMORPGs, and most of them fundamentally are still using a click or alt tap targeting system and then the mashing of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hotkeys. Look at the 7 key features of Dragoness PvP. The word skill for PvP in MMORPG have never been that well represented. Share this video with that friend whom you know have been searching for that one MMORPG that is truly based off the skill of an individual. If you're watching this video because your friend have shared this with you, you will not regret your decision to play this MMORPG today. For the rest of the Dragoness PvP community, if you want larger prize pools, if you want sponsors, if you want Dragoness PvP to turn into an esport, then you must first do your part as well to help grow this community. We already have the Dragoness Asia Cup and upcoming Dragoness Bowl Championships, which is the DWC. Whether Dragoness PvP can go further than these 2 major tournaments depends on us, the players in the community. I think I've said enough, and I hope this video is enough to drive and help build the Dragoness PvP community further. Remember, one Dragoness. Thanks for watching. As always, God bless, share this with your friends across all Dragoness regions around the world, and I'll see you guys and girls next time. Goodbye.